This evening, pandemic support, the government's billion-dollar commitment to mental health in the wake of mass job losses. Quality quarantine, thousands of returning Australian travellers isolated in some of the country's best hotels as new mandatory restrictions take effect. Rules ignored, authorities across the country plead with people to adhere to social distancing. And overcoming isolation, the ways you can keep in touch with friends and family.
This is 7 News with Peter Mitchell.
Good evening. A $1 billion support package has been unveiled to extend health services to Australians at home in the government's latest response to the coronavirus. Live now to Olivia Leeming in Canberra. And Olivia, there's a particular focus on mental health support.
Yeah, the government very concerned that levels of anxiety and depression will increase due to job losses and less social interaction, unveiling a $1.1 billion package to boost counselling and other mental health services, also extending telehealth services. So from tomorrow, Australians who are self-isolating or in formal quarantine, they will be able to ring their GP or specialist from home if their appointment doesn't require a physical checkup. The Prime Minister also announcing more funding to support domestic violence victims, concerns they are now at greater risk with more families forced to stay at home. Also funding for charities to provide emergency food and financial support for those most in need. Here's more from the Prime Minister.
Feature of actually working through. Right now, it's about getting more support to people in the community that need it most, and that's their health care, that's their mental health, that's their protection for vulnerable Australians, and that emergency relief.
We are there for all Australians. Our mental health and our mental well-being is a foundational piece for us to be able to get through this pandemic.
And Olivia, the government is preparing to unveil a third major economic support package.
Yeah, now this will go to the government's Expenditure Review Committee tomorrow, and we're hearing from the Prime Minister today that it will be worth even more than the two relief packages already announced to support those already unemployed or about to be, including wage subsidies, so laid-off workers receive a share of their lost income. As the Health Minister revealed, there's some hope in the latest infection figures, with the rate of increase of coronavirus cases dropping from 25 to 30% a day last week, now to 13 to 15% in recent days. But he says there is still a long way to go.
An early positive sign. We have so much more work to do, but by people isolating, by people being able to social distance, and they are really doing this. Australians are rising magnificently to this challenge, and we want to say thank you.
Now, acknowledging there are still some Australians who are not doing the right thing, a reminder to them that they are putting lives at risk.
Olivia Leeming in Canberra, thank you. Thousands of Australian travellers have returned home and been bussed straight to some of the country's best hotels as part of strict new quarantine rules to limit the spread of the coronavirus. Miley Hogan joins us from Sydney Airport, where almost 3,000 are arriving today, including those on some of the final Qantas flights from key international ports.
Well, this is the new welcome to Australia. People returning from overseas greeted by police and the Defence Force. There is tight security here and strict hygiene measures as every single passenger is screened and then cleared before being placed on a bus. From here, they will be transported to hotels across the city where they will spend the next 14 days in lockdown. It is an unusual sight to witness, these strict security measures for ordinary people returning home. But the government believes this is what is necessary to try and slow the spread. We know that the majority of coronavirus cases in Australia are return travellers or can be traced back to them. What do you think of these new measures?
I think it's good.
Was it a surprise to see the army here?
Yeah, just nice to be home.
We're quite concerned that I don't think going onto a bus with other people for an 85-year-old person who's at risk is the right place to be. No. He has his own flat. He could self-isolate. He's 85. He was not going to breach the rules.
3,000 people are due to land at Sydney International Airport today. These strict measures will stay in place until authorities feel they are in control of the spread.
Miley Hogan reporting. Police and the Defence Force have arrived at Fremantle Port in Western Australia, where hundreds of German passengers are preparing to disembark infected cruise ship Artania and be taken to the airport for flights out of WA. 9 passengers from the ship have tested positive to COVID-19 and are being treated in hospital. 3 of them are fighting for life. More than 40 passengers have also shown symptoms, and Perth's private hospitals are preparing to treat them. Meanwhile, 200 Australians are due to arrive in Perth on a Qatar flight rescued from ships off the Italian coasts. Health authorities in Sydney have renewed warnings for people to adhere to social distancing rules. There have been 11 fines now for non-compliance, despite repeated pleas to keep apart.
Maybe it's just they don't get how serious it is. This is really serious, and it could be you, your family, your friends. If you need to get your coffee, get it, and then clear off.
Police are now also reporting instances of hospital theft, with thieves stealing bottles of hand sanitiser. New South Wales now has almost 1,800 cases after 174 new transmissions overnight. The outrage has spread to Victoria, where people have also disobeyed social distancing rules. It comes as the state's death toll rises to 4, with a man in his 80s succumbing to the virus. Chanel Vella reports.
We've all seen the crowds on beaches in New South Wales and Victoria, and we were outraged. But it seems people still aren't getting the message about what exactly social distancing means. This park in Melbourne South was taken over by an exercise group who weren't over the limit in their numbers, but they didn't obey the distancing regulations.
It's those people that are going to make the laws even tougher for all of us. All it takes is for the government to do another stage because of these type of people, and it's a domino effect into the economy and people losing more jobs.
We want people to understand that unless they change their behaviour, they are putting their life and the life of their loved ones at risk.
Overnight in Victoria, a 4th man died from the virus.
That was a gentleman who was in his 80s. The total number of cases overnight is another 84 cases, taking us to a total of 769.
Around 4,400 tests are being carried out every day.
Our frontline healthcare workers are our true heroes. I just want people to remember that our healthcare workers are risking their lives each and every day for you.
There have now been 21 community transmissions across Victoria. 26 people remain in hospital. 4 of them are in intensive care.
Chanel Vella reporting. It was an election night like no other in Queensland last night. Bizarre and embroiled in controversy after a computer meltdown. Most of the results for local councils and 2 by-elections failed to upload, leaving candidates and millions of voters in the dark. Marlena Wapp has more.
Holding elections during a health emergency was always going to be controversial, but then a computer meltdown plagued the Electoral Commission's ability to share the voting results with Queenslanders.
2.5 million Queenslanders voted with precautions in place for COVID-19. But the results, well, they trickled through online last night, painfully slow. Candidates had no idea what was happening, even as 1 million votes were being counted. Initially, because of social distancing rules, the Commission broke with tradition and banned scrutineers from watching the count in polling booths. So getting a gauge on results on the ground was even more difficult. Today, in the battle for Brisbane, Australia's largest local government, the incumbent LNP Lord Mayor Adrian Schrinner claimed victory. And the Electoral Commission says the problem with its website has since been fixed.
So we couldn't display the results, unfortunately, till about 11 p.m. last night, which is unacceptable. We know that. We're very disappointed with that outcome.
I'm pretty disappointed, frankly. I mean, they've got one job, and their job is to make sure that they can actually run an election. So I'll be ordering a review of that as to why it happened.
The Queensland Government is also planning to use showgrounds, convention centres and mining camps for extra beds if the COVID-19 crisis worsens. It comes after another death in the state.
The 75-year-old woman was a passenger on the Ruby Princess cruise ship and died in hospital overnight. And a number of her family members are also sick.
Marlena Wapp reporting. Private hospitals have warned state and federal governments they're on the brink of no return following the National Cabinet's order to cancel non-elective surgeries. Australia needs access to the nation's 650 private hospitals to deal with the COVID-19 crisis. They're demanding the government guarantee their survival with 100,000 jobs at risk. Woolworths will increase security and install protection screens at checkouts in new measures to limit the coronavirus spread. From tomorrow, health and emergency workers will have a dedicated community shopping hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Seniors and the disabled will now have their community hour from 7 to 8 a.m. each other weekday. Customers should pack their own shopping bags and use tap and go payments. Donald Trump has backed away from a full quarantine of New York City as a hospital ship prepares to deliver much-needed aid. The president is instead considering tougher travel bans as cases rise rapidly. Paul Kadak reports.
Good evening. The Commander-in-Chief was in Norfolk, Virginia today to give a ceremonial send-off to the US Navy hospital ship Comfort, which is headed here to the virus frontline in New York City. On board, 1,000 beds, 1,200 medical personnel, 12 operating theatres. It is ready to assist as soon as it arrives. It is set to dock here in New York City on Monday, and then from Tuesday local time, it'll start accepting non-COVID-19 patients from other hospitals. The idea being that will allow the local hospitals here to concentrate on dealing with coronavirus. Here's what Donald Trump had to say.
This great ship behind me is a 70,000-ton message of hope and solidarity to the incredible people of New York.
Some states have already put their own restrictions on. Florida asking anyone coming from New York to self-quarantine for a couple of weeks, as the United States now has more than 113,000 cases. Around half of those are here in New York State. And with the rate of growth in that at the moment, there is a new case of coronavirus confirmed in New York State about every 10 seconds. There is someone hospitalised with it about every 2 minutes, and someone is dying from it about every 7 minutes. And the peak of this virus outbreak could still be 2 or 3 weeks away. From New York, it's back to you.
Paul Kadak reporting. Still to come in 7 News, Europe's coronavirus crisis worsens. The dire warning from health authorities in Britain. Also the moment a tornado tears through an American town, caught on camera. The incredible pictures next. And keeping connected, how Aussies are staying in touch in isolation.
With each announcement comes more confusion.
Perfect breeding ground for COVID-19.
That's why every night at 7 p.m, The Latest answers all your critical questions.
We drill down into the age groups.
Breaking down what you need to know.
Major breakthrough in the detection.
The Latest, every night at 7.
The pollen count is high, so get ready, hay fever sufferers.
Sorry, I can't stay on Earth without Nasonex allergy.
Hay fever is no reason to leave the planet. Upgrade from antihistamines with Nasonex allergy and enjoy Earth.
Always make a good impression.
Connecting Bluetooth.
Or just be yourself. Change the rules. The new look Toyota CHR. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Feel the clarity of non-drowsy Claritine for fast, powerful 24-hour hay fever and allergy relief from sneezing, runny nose, itchy eyes and skin. Because stuffed animals are clearly no substitute for real ones. Feel the clarity and live Claritine clear.
When we say no to walls, it doesn't matter how you arrived. The doors of the world are kicked wide open so we can all thrive side by side. Join the bigger picture with HSBC's low-rate home loan.
Bloating? Here. Heartburn? Here. Dehydration? Present. Constipation? Get a move on. And diarrhoea?
Just made it, ma'am.
Now that you're all here, you're dismissed. Thanks to GastroHealth's digestive support range, including probiotics, prebiotic fibre, antacids, and electrolytes. GastroHealth is digestive health in a class of its own.
Britain has recorded its single deadliest day since the coronavirus outbreak began, with dire new warnings from health officials. Hugh Whitfeld is in London. Hugh, Europe is still struggling to cope with this pandemic.
Another grim milestone from this crisis in Europe as the death toll in Italy surged past 10,000. 889 people killed by COVID-19 in the last 24 hours in Italy, as priests now bless coffins by the dozen due to be cremated. And at another nearby town in Italy, they are holding a funeral, burying victims every 30 minutes. In France, they are now choppering patients to Germany, such is the weight on the health service of the sheer number of patients in France. Spain has just recorded its deadliest 24-hour period of the crisis, 832 people killed in one day. That pushes the death toll in Spain above 5,000. And equally sobering news from Britain. Another record daily death toll, 260 people killed in 24 hours. That pushes the death toll here above 1,000. One health boss here has said, quote, "If we can keep deaths below 20,000, we will have done very well." The Prime Minister here, Boris Johnson, is now chairing meetings from behind closed doors. He is, of course, in self-isolation, having tested positive to coronavirus himself. He is now essentially running the government via video link.
Hugh Whitfeld reporting. In other news, a man is in custody after a bomb scare in Sydney's northwest. He told police he had an explosive which led to a 4-hour standoff. Peter Fegan has more.
Well, police were called to an intersection in Northmead just before 5 o'clock this morning after reports a man had stopped his utility in the middle of the intersection. When police spoke with him, they say he indicated he had an explosive device. Immediately, a perimeter was set up and the bomb squad was called in. For the next 4.5 hours, officers tried to speak with a man who I can now identify as 50-year-old Dean Formiati. He continued to pace up and down the road with a suspicious object secured around his neck. At times he would lay on the road with his pet dog, a blue heeler. He also sat on a milk crate. Police were then finally able to deliver him a mobile phone via a bomb disposal robot. He talked to negotiators for some time. Shortly after that, he stripped naked and gave himself up peacefully.
The fact that we were able to get him talking certainly helped. And he certainly assisted us in his arrest.
7 News has spoken to Dean's mother today. She has said her son is a beautiful man with a heart of gold, but has for a long time suffered with mental illness, and the last 5 days has been especially bad. Dean Formiati has since been charged by police. His bail was refused. I'm happy to report that the man's dog was not hurt and he is safe with police this afternoon.
Peter Fegan reporting. 3 dogs have been seized after a deadly attack on the New South Wales south coast. A 91-year-old woman was killed and 4 others savagely mauled while walking on a beach at Jarvis Bay this morning. All 5 were taken to hospital, but the woman couldn't be saved. It's believed the dogs escaped from their homes. A destructive tornado has flattened a town in America's south. Buildings were destroyed and vehicles overturned as a search and rescue operation gets underway.
Mother Nature's fury captured on camera. Debris swirls through the air as a powerful tornado tears through. At the twister's mercy, the city of Jonesboro, nestled in the northeastern corner of Arkansas. A camera mounted on a hospital records its destructive march.
Wow, this is a violent tornado, guys.
As it headed towards homes, an urgent warning from a local news station.
You have seconds. Get in your safe spot. Don't try to look at it. Get as many walls in between you and the outside. Cover the heads of all the kids.
This is all hands on deck. If you're in the city of Jonesboro and you are law enforcement, you are emergency services, you are working right now. This damage is terrifying.
It formed without warning, steadily building into an unstoppable monster. Sparks flying as it devoured everything in its path. In its wake, widespread destruction. Rescue crews are now searching for anyone injured. Jack Douglas, 7 News.
Sports next with Tim Watson, and Tim, D-Day is fast approaching for the NRL.
Yes, Mitch, they hope to end the standoff with the Players Association over pay cuts with a series of crucial meetings. Details next. Plus, prize money for Sydney's racing showpiece slashed as coronavirus hammers the bottom line. And Olympic organisers set to name a new date for the rescheduled Tokyo Games.
Yes, it's the first word of any new discovery. Telfast helps you say yes with fast, non-drowsy hay fever allergy relief. Turn a half-hearted yes into an all-in yes. Telfast. Live your life.
Get 60 months interest-free now at Harvey Norman and receive a bonus gift card. The more you spend using interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card, up to $300. Get what you need now with great deals across a huge range of furniture and bedding. Get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card. The more you spend using interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card, up to $300. Limited time only, now at Harvey Norman.
Support your immune system health with Restore Probiotic Daily Health. Specially formulated to support immune system health and function, even when travelling. Restore Probiotic, when immune health matters.
My way is nature's way.
Go bold! We go big, we go bold. We go big, we go bold.
Got your phone.
Melissa? Thank you. You okay?
Yeah.
It's a St George thing.
Welcome back. The NRL is confident of resolving its standoff with the Players Association over pay cuts in a meeting tomorrow. By slashing administration costs, head office has found an extra $7 million to put towards player pay, bringing the total rescue package to nearly $20 million. Players face a pay cut of around 80% if the 2020 season is unable to recommence.
Guys don't sort of, know when or if another paycheck is coming, so it's hard to sort of, organise your life.
Chief Executive Todd Greenberg will take unpaid leave when the NRL shuts down in coming weeks. AFL stars could be handed greater on-field responsibility and freedom as a result of the coronavirus crisis. Former senior coach Rodney Eade believes the trimming down of coaching groups will have an impact.
You won't be able to give all the younger players as much feedback and attention, so the development will be interesting to see how clubs go. But I think as far as a product looking, it'll be more intuitive and you just got to let players play a bit.
Clubs could be forced to halve their footy department spend in the coming years to deal with the financial impact of the current shutdown. Racing New South Wales has slashed prize money for its showpiece event, the Championships, by nearly $10 million. The Doncaster Mile and Queen Elizabeth Stakes are among a host of Group 1 races that have had their prize money cut in half due to the challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Administrators have done an incredible job to keep us going so far, but we've had to slash that prize money for good reasons. The revenue streams are collapsing, and I think everyone can support that.
The Championships at Randwick will go ahead over the next 2 Saturdays unless there are changes in government restrictions. You'll see them live and free on 7. Tokyo Olympic organisers are leaning towards staging the rescheduled Games in July next year, with a final decision expected in coming weeks. World surfing champion Carissa Moore has joined the wave of stars praising the International Olympic Committee for postponing the event during the coronavirus outbreak.
There is a lot of craziness going on in the world right now, and I think everyone's health is the top concern. And I'm really excited that the Games is still happening.
The face of the Games, tennis star Naomi Osaka, says the IOC and Japanese government made a brave decision. And for those of you having to self-isolate at home, at least you can get to sleep in your own bed. That's more than you can say for a team of French chess players who are stranded in the Russian city of Murmansk. They were forced into quarantine when the tournament they were playing in was shut down due to an Irish player testing positive for coronavirus. With international flights grounded and border crossings closed, they may be forced to hole up at the French embassy in Moscow. And that is the classic checkmate. Mitch? or the classic Russian mate.
Russian mate.
Whichever way you want to put it.
They'd be feeling like pawns anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Tim. Up next in 7 News, isolated but not alone, the creative way Aussies are staying connected in this crisis. And we'll have all your Monday weather details right around the country.
Lemons, just enough zest. Chilies, right amount of heat. And the most delicate piece of tuna. Only the best ingredients make the cut. It's what John West rejects that makes John West deli tuna the best.
My way is nature's way.
When immune health matters, support your immune system health with Restore Probiotic Daily Health. Restore Probiotic Daily Health is specially formulated to support immune system health and function, even when travelling. To maintain your general health and well-being, support your immune system health and function with Restore Probiotic Daily Health for when immune health matters. Available at Chemist Warehouse.
My way is nature's way.
Great news, gardeners. Richgro's Black Marvel fruit and citrus food now comes in a fast-acting and easy-to-use liquid formula. Spray it on for the Rich Grow effect and get bigger, juicier fruit. Grab some today and grow you good things.
Hungry Jack's Penny Pinchers everyday savings are here. Try our new cheesy bacon chip buddy with thick cut chips, cheese sauce, crispy bacon crumble in a soft bun for just $2. And grab a large frozen bursty for $2. Only at Hungry Jack's.
Meaning. We search for it our entire lives. The meaning in our existence. Work. Beliefs. Relationships. We're consumed by a need to find it. But it's when we stop searching and start feeling. Suddenly it's there. The two-grown coop. Because...
Been told to keep our distance, but while that means you have to physically stay away, people are using other methods to stay in touch with family and friends. They're using social media and apps for catch-ups, coffees and celebrations. And it's also helping to keep their chin up. Samantha Brett reports.
Well, in a time when social distancing is mandatory, some people are managing to socialise more than ever before, all thanks to technology. With pubs, clubs, restaurants and cafes closed except for takeout, many people are organising meetups and even parties online.
Engagement party.
Yeah. Alex and Tim had to cancel their interstate engagement party, so they had a virtual one instead.
It was a bit funny to start with. I'd never done any of this Zoom things before. Things got a little bit weird towards the end, but it was a great night.
Apps like Zoom, Skype, FaceTime and Instagram Live are helping people stay connected face-to-face during the crisis.
We actually need to be more social than usual, not less, to protect our mental health against the effects of isolation.
Former publicist Tori Archbold is passionate about the power of the coffee catch-up with friends. Now she's turned those into virtual coffees.
Social media is going to come out on top during the coronavirus.
With the young and even the elderly getting in on the action.
Oh, that's lovely, dearie. That's superb.
And it seems with social media, we've never been more connected online than in 2020. And many people nowadays are using creative methods to stay connected, including having birthday parties online, hosting trivia nights and virtual cook-offs. Anything to keep the spirits up.
Samantha Brett reporting. Time now to check our weather. A front is triggering showers and storms over South Australia, Victoria and Tasmania, spreading into outback New South Wales. Onshore winds are producing local showers and storms on the east coast. Around the country tomorrow, Brisbane dry and partly cloudy and 29. Showers likely in Sydney and Canberra with the risk of a storm. Melbourne has the slight chance of an early shower, turning sunny and 21. Hobart and Adelaide are both dry, mild and partly cloudy. Perth mostly sunny and 25. Darwin's heading for 35 in the sunshine. And that's 7 News for now. Our next bulletin is 7 News at 6. I'm Peter Mitchell. Thanks for your company.